There are only few places you can turn to for nuclear power plants. We don't have the technological capability to do it ourselves, so we have to work with others that have done this work before, but do it in a safe way and also in a way that will comply with international rules and regulations. As far as reaction from our neighbors, like our European friends, American friends, Middle Eastern friends, I've heard nothing but good comments and encouragement. And the reason, I believe, is a question of trust. Turkey is trusted in these issues. No one will think that Turkey will develop this nuclear program, to make bombs one day. So, I mean, again, the question of trust, again, vis-a-vis Iran, confidence building is, I think, a key element there. The engagement with Iran, well, Turkey is obviously, as you have pointed out, is playing an important role in bridging the gap and kind of maintaining the lines of communications open between Iran and the Western Bloc. And the meeting in Geneva last week was very encouraging for us as well. It must have been a relief for President Obama also. He was betting on the outcome of that meeting for his Iran policy, that is. And I think the signs are good because Iranians have agreed to have another meeting at the end of this month. But in the meantime, they're preparing the groundwork for the IAEA monitors to come and monitor or check the facilities there. And I think again there the key issue is mutual trust, which has been lacking in the Iranian nuclear issue.
Steve Larrabee, Iran. I'd like to go back to the issue of Iran for a moment. What you have stated, of course, is the official line of regarding Iran, but on a couple of occasions, including at Brookings last year, the Prime Minister took a slightly different tone, in which he was asked about Iran, and he said somewhat testedly, why should Iran be not allowed to have nuclear weapons when other countries in the region have them? That sort of indicated that perhaps the policy wasn't quite as clear, as you say, or that there were other views within the government. Secondly, there's the question of sanctions. If, in fact, these talks don't work out, and we hope that they do, President Obama has said that the United States, and followed by its allies, in particular France, will impose stricter sanctions, enhanced sanctions on Iran. The Prime Minister has said that he, I would say, opposes sanctions or has significant reservations about sanctions. Isn't that going to create a problem with your Western allies?
Henri Baki from Carnegie. I'm going to follow up on Steve's question. The Prime Minister and you just said that what you want is for the NPT to be applied fairly to everybody. And clearly the implication in the case of the Prime Minister and you is that you're talking about the Middle East, you're talking about the Israeli weapons. Well, but doesn't that mean that you are misunderstanding what the whole NPT process is, or at least you're giving the impression? There are countries which have decided to sign the NPT, and the NPT was a Faustian bargain. You sign up in exchange for investigations of your program. You got help on nuclear issues. If you chose not to sign up on the NPT treaty, you were not obliged to open up your facilities. Israel, India, Pakistan are three of the most important examples. So when you say the NPT should be applied to everybody, how can you say that when one country is not a member of the NPT?
One more.
Hugh Pope from Crisis Group at the Transatlantic Academy. I'd like to 2 points. One is you talked about engaging difficult actors in the region and not excluding anyone. Has the time come for Turkey to talk to the Greek Cypriots about Cyprus, given the critical months ahead? And secondly, Turkey talks to a lot of countries and groups with which the United States does not have a good or open relationship. How should we define what Turkey's relationship is? Is Turkey in any way working as a kind of fixer for the United States in the Middle East?
Regarding the statements by the Prime Minister about the Iranian nuclear program, I think there is a slight misunderstanding there. What the Prime Minister is saying is not that everybody, if say for example Israel or other countries have nuclear weapons, everybody should have. He's basically saying that no one should have it. I mean, why do we make exceptions? Now, let me tie this in with your question. Yes, Israel is not a party to the NPT, and that is, I think, part of the problem. Now, you may say, well, this is Israel's policy, but when you're talking about confidence and suspicion in the region, where we have every indication that there is a very strong possibility of having nuclear weapons in Israel, and then you pressure another country with the suspicion, again, that you will produce one day nuclear weapons, then it creates a double standard.
Can I just say, but it's not, the issue with Iran is not whether or not it is going for a nuclear weapon as much as it is cheating on its IAEA commitments. Iran made the commitments. It's not supposed to cheat on those commitments.
But we are talking about, we are talking about the larger political context here. When Prime Minister says, oh, you keep pressuring us, I mean, what are you going to do about Iran, you know? Are you going to support the sanctions? Are you going to take a tougher line, etc.? He's basically saying that, yeah, let's talk about nuclear weapons as a whole in the region, not just for one particular country, but for the entire region. Now, regarding this sanctions issue, well, again, I mean, you know, this is not only Turkey that has said this. The sanctions really don't work. I mean, we've had sanctions for many, many years. Have they really produced any concrete results? Have they really persuaded the Iranians that they should come forward and prove that they have only peaceful means in mind? By the way, I mean, I take for granted the fact that, you know, we all agree that Iranians should do more to prove, you know, to the IAEA and to its neighbors that it is pursuing peaceful nuclear program. Just for the record, I should, you know, say this clearly. Definitely, Iranians have a responsibility there to comply with the IAEA rules and, you know, make sure. But again, you see, if you look at this whole nuclear issue, IAEA monitors, you know, going in and out of Iran and all the episodes that we have seen when Iranians allowed them and then they didn't allow them. It's a political debate. It's not a technical debate. It's not a question of, you know, applying, you know, number 6 of the NPT or IAEA rules. It's a political debate. Again, it's a question of confidence. You know, from their point of view, they see it as intrusion, as, you know, many other things that they called, you know, the monitoring process, etc. So there is, I mean, I think the onus of proof lies as much on Iranians as on others that call for a peaceful or for a full kind of transparent opening of Iranian nuclear program. About the Greek Cypriots, certainly, I mean, it's a good point, and we need to be doing more, I agree, in principle, in terms of reaching out to the Greek Cypriot community and not see the Greek Cypriot community only through the eyes of political lines. There needs to be, you know, further cooperation between us and the Greek Cypriot side, as well as between the Turkish Cypriot side and the Greek Cypriot side. And there's tremendous potential there that needs to be realized. But when issues become so complicated and become part of domestic politics also, it's difficult sometimes to make these kind of goodwill gestures and kind of open up new lines of communications and, you know, use your soft power, etc. Because the Cyprus issue has been a domestic issue in Turkey for 3-4 decades now, and it's difficult to change the public perception about it. But this is not to say, as I said, we shouldn't be talking. We should be doing more, no doubt. And you know, we are encouraged, you know, by our very good relationship with Greece, and now the new Prime Minister will be visiting Turkey, and that's another good sign that, you know, this relations between Turkey and Greece will, you know, further improve, and we're hoping that some positive kind of impact will be carried from there to the Turkish-Greek